So this is mostly due to kind of a happy mistake I made that I could demonstrate um, one of the chemical things about acknowledging something chemically, what's going on with a lava lamp. So I've been working on these three grandes for the past couple of weeks. This is the one I'm going to give away to free to one of my subscribers. This is one I've been working on for a client of mine that wants something um, fall-like, something Halloween appropriate, I think, for some corporate event he's doing. And this is one I've just been having a hell of a time because of something I used to color it with over a period of time. Um, and I thought I would use this as an opportunity to talk about what surfactant does in lamps, because these are all, this one's, the surfactant level is pretty much perfect. I think I'm going to tweak it once again. This one is way off, and this one is way off in the opposite direction. So, for surfactant is really used for two things within a lava lamp. And I'm gonna try to get more on this channel about what chemicals do. And I know I'm working on the wax thing for everybody that's waiting on it. I'm thinking I'm going to be starting that video tomorrow. I have all my supplies. I just have to find a few hours to start putting that together. But about surfactant. So what surfactant does in a lava lamp is, one, you use it to coat the inside of the globe so you don't have wax sticking to it. It essentially provides a barrier that prevents wax from sticking to the inside of the glass in a lot of modern lamps, especially the grandes you've been seeing now, which is awesome because you can get them for that a nice price right now. I know eBay has them and Walmart has them for like 116 bucks or something. I've gotten a ton of them that way. Um, but when you get them, they're a mess. Like I've showed in previous videos, there's always wax sticking, they're foggy, there's a nightmare. So what surfactant does is, when you clean your globe and before you pour the contents of a lava lamp into it, you coat the inside of the glass with it, and that prevents wax sticking to the inside. The other thing that surfactant does in a lava lamp is it breaks surface tension. So, a really simple way of putting it, without getting too complicated, is the more surfactant that you put inside the master fluid of the lava lamp, the smaller the wax globes and balls are going to be. This has too much surfactant. You're getting all too much small spheres floating around. This lamp's also running a little hot, but either way, it was good for showing what I was trying to show you. So this has way too much surfactant. You want something like this, which is surfactant level. I think I'm going to tweak a little bit, but this one is almost perfect. You get these nice long ropes, but you do get enough breakage that you get small spheres falling when the lamp breaks from the top. This one, it's actually, at the moment, looks okay, but you'll see in a second, it does not have enough surfactant. So the tension is not breaking enough on it. It's a bad time for me to point it out because right now it actually looks all right, but in a second you'll see you'll get these one long tower and it doesn't break correctly. This one's actually going to kind of go against what I'm saying at the moment. But typically, when you're dealing with lamps, if you get something, actually, this is exactly what I was talking about. You're not getting the breakage you should. You're not getting enough activity from it. This has not enough surfactant in it. See, it almost looks like what you see during warm-ups on these grande lamps, but this thing's at full temperature and should not be doing what it's doing right here. It needs a little bit more surfactant on this one to break everything up. As you can see, this one, like I said, this one's actually giving me some issues. But besides that, but still, a biggest issue with this one at this point, though, is the surfactant level, and it needs to be decreased because this is never what you want it to look like. This one, on the other hand, is more what you want it to do in the long run. Um, as far as the other chemical thing I'm going to be addressing soon with lamps, and a couple of people had asked me about it. I am wearing a Misfits shirt underneath this just for the people that keep saying I wasn't wearing one for too many videos. Increasing wax density. So a lot of the times people will make their own wax, or they will have a problem with an old lamp, or even though the wax is hot, the fluid's hot, the lamp is up to temperature, you have the wax inside liquefied and everything's floating at top. A lot of people will say that the lamp is too hot. They're wrong when that happens. if you see a lamp like this one is a little too hot right now. You see, imagine if all of the little spheres in this were floating at the top of the lamp, looking like this, but everything was up here. That is what the lamp looks like when it's too hot, not when everything is liquefied and just sitting at the top in one solid form. That lamp is not too hot. That means that your wax density is off in that case. There are ways to combat that. There's a couple of different chemicals. So what I've derived is that Lava Light Chicago used to use kerosene, from what I've heard, to increase the density in their wax. I don't usually do that for one reason or other. I think that tetrachloroethylene is typically easier. It's more commonly known as perc. It's a chemical used in brake clean, and it was a commonly used chemical in dry cleaning processes. It is toxic. It is known to cause cancer over long time exposure. So when you're using it, you want to either do it outside or wear proper respiration while you're doing it. I will be talking more about how that works that way and why it works that way and how to determine if you're using too much or too little when I make the wax video. But that's one thing that I've been meaning to address with people. The other thing is that when I do get, one other small thing about it, when I get into making wax, I'm going to be showing you ways to, okay, I made this batch of wax. It's not exactly how I want it. You need more of this. You need less of this. You need more of this. You need less of this when you're doing it, because we'll look at a lamp and look at it and go, okay, it's a little off. This is how you want to adjust it to get it to where you want it to be. My tips for that are going to be when you're either making wax using my recipe or a similar recipe. You don't have to use my recipe. Or whether you're modifying the wax that comes in a lamp like this stock. I can't advocate for you to add any chemicals to a wax that you bought from, say, Lava Lab Creations, or I know Jacob has been talking about releasing his, the one-shot guy. Any of the things I talk about chemically, I don't want you to do to their wax, because I don't know what chemicals they use in their particular formula. So anything I talk about is going to be modifying the wax that typically comes in grandes and modern lava lamps, or the wax I'm going to show you how to make. As far as modifying their formulas go, I'm not going to advocate for that, because I don't know what they're going to stand by their wax if you mess it up using chemicals that I use when I make wax compared to the chemicals that they use when they make wax, and they're not going to tell you how they do it. So anyway, so that's what surfactant does in a lava lamp, and that's how an easy way to determine if you need to adjust your level.